gratifying to join a community of directors this afternoon. I don't, by any imagination, claim any expertise in ESG. I'm also not an expert in finance, but I do have some knowledge and experience in our financial sector, and I really maybe have been asked to speak about our experience at CPF Group. So maybe just for a bit of sort of background, people to appreciate who CPF Group is. It's a very interesting organization, one of the oldest, or born out of a very old pension fund, which was established by the colonial government in 1929 for Nairobi City Council employees. And we grew from that background of a pension fund, a typical pension fund for civil servants or public servants. But the institution was established as a trust and was for senior officers. And in that time, from 1920s all the way to 1963, the senior officers were, of course, white officers. And I want to say that that legacy, in one way, is problematic, and in another way, is also an interesting one, because I still pay a few of those old folk their pension from here, while they retired in the UK and also some in Canada and a few other places. The beauty and the governance structure of our institution is such that we escape being a government organization, although we're providing public services. That's a very interesting place to sit, because we are not a government-owned institution, but we are serving the employees who are in government. So with that kind of structure as a trust organization, we have grown over time to now metamorphosize into a very interesting organization where we have grown from being a pension fund in the old understanding to be offering solutions in various areas, which have been necessitated by the demands of our customers. So we are we run an administrator institution, and I want to say that before we went this direction, we benchmarked with the scheme, international systems in many countries. We have some of them in the UK, also in the Netherlands, Canada, and Australia. We are able to run our organization in a manner whereby your major client is actually your shareholder, and that is the pension fund is our shareholder, and we have now about 4 of them. So our business majorly is to administer pensions for the public servants in counties, all the 47 county governments, and we have tried to do this as successfully as possible. I think we have a reputation of not even having a single unpaid pensioner, when other people are crying that sometimes we have not been paid pension. CPF, we don't have a single unpaid pension, and we pay our pensions on time. By the 20th of every month, we have released their money. So evolving from that, we've built a company which then has subsidiaries in areas like insurance, areas like IT and renewable energy, and also into property services of all kinds, development, project management, and property management, and so forth. Today, I would like me to speak about what our experience has been in really ESG and the governance, particularly the social aspect of it. In order to do that, we have had to look, basically we derive our ESG, so particularly the social part of it, from the trust and the fiduciary responsibility of our members and their beneficiaries. So looking at that, if you look at our trust documents, it requires trustees to take care of not only the primary member, but beyond the primary member, to take care of the beneficiaries, the children and the widows and the widowers. And we do that for many, many years. So to be able to take care of them, we've got to be able to go beyond the normal. So whenever we have such challenges, particularly with our African society, we have a situation whereby an individual is not seen as a unique standing personality. The family has a lot of interest in the individual. So whenever a member passes on, what happens is that the widow tends to be sort of embraced and taken care of. And in many cases, some of that embrace can be very unwanted or undesirable, because it comes with issues like saying the benefits of the resources which have come from the primary member should actually be disposed to be dealt with as a family, as opposed to being really ring-fenced for the young beneficiaries who are left behind. So having that in mind, we set up a trust fund, a special trust fund we call Mwamba, which now manages through proper grant letters outside the normal succession and the issues of, we minimize the issues of property. Also, with an appointment, with the signing of the document or the grant letters by the family member who is the beneficiary, who in our nomination documents, then, and the family has the family members agreeing, we transfer the resources into that trust fund, and we use it now to take care of the family and the children. So we pay a lot of school fees of departed members. Now, that creates a real engagement of a social nature by our scheme and the service provision within our ecosystem. And as a result, our members then feel completely engaged and part and parcel of us. We do visitations to these, some of them who are too old to visit, to even come forward and confirm that they are still alive for them to benefit. Others, we do visitation to take their biometrics and deliver certain benefits. And we make it possible for them to receive some of the funds they need through their M-Pesa, so that they don't have to visit a bank. Some of them are unable even to visit. So these are the extension services we have had, and as a result, we feel as an organization that we are really delivering on one of the aspects of the ESG, and therefore implementing the SDGs, which have been set for this particular environment. That is one of the things we do. But coming to the other side of the environment, looking at the environmental concerns, we of course are one organization which we believe in innovation in a very big way, and most of our products are innovative, and we also go on board whenever there's a new idea. We look at it and critically. For example, through our subsidiary dealing with renewable energy, we've made sure that all our properties are, we have encompassed solar power generation on top of our rooftops of all our buildings in town here and elsewhere, and generate and substitute the grid power by more than 30%. As a result of that, we are contributing to reducing carbon emission. So when you look at, for example, the fact that could be more than 70% of Kenyan grid power is actually green, because it's majorly generated from hydro as well as from geothermal. So when we had another aspect coming from our own solar, we are definitely trying to reach 100% in terms of green technology in our building. The second aspect is that we are one of the first institutions which embraced more than 5 years ago the use of electric car. We use for transporting our staff within Nairobi an electric car, so that we are actually trying to, and I'm happy that there's a lot of embracing of this technology now going across the country. So that is the contribution we are making towards part of the ESGs. But since I was supposed to really speak about the social, I would like to say that social goes deeper, because then when you take care of the holistic personality, the member, when they are active in service, and then you take care of them when they retire, and then you take care of them after they have also left this world, and you take care of the beneficiaries, basically you have really covered the whole person, and so your social impact is huge. For example, in some of our active members, we have provided them with pre-retirement benefits, because many people require some of the benefits to be enjoyed now. And sometimes most of our men are fatalistic. They actually don't anticipate to survive longer than what we call the recognized demographics of our country, in terms of, they will say it's supposed to be that maybe by my 58th birthday I might not even be here. So why should I keep a lot of money? But I want to say that that is fatalistic, because you are assuming that you are alone, nobody else depends on you. But on the concept of dependability, you've got to think like that. And then secondly, there is an issue which has now become very germane, which is the post-retirement medical issues. If there is something which needs to be of concern to our Institute of Directors and others who are interested in governance, is to say, do we look at the person when they are very active and then forget about them when they retire? So right now is a big issue. Universal health coverage is an issue now. But that is only talking about when people are active. But what about when they retire? Are you going to have the same lifestyle? Will you afford to take care of medical requirements, particularly when they become more enhanced at your retirement age? So that's an issue of conversation we are dealing with in CPF. We have also realized that there's also conversation which has never been normal in our African setting. The conversation about, really, are we prepared to have an honorable departure from this world? Is that conversation, can we bring it to the table? Because sometimes we have never brought it to the table properly. I know we do a lot of fundraising and other things when one of us departs. But then, as in business, we say planning, even failing to plan is actually planning to fail. If that is the case, then if you can't plan your life properly so that there is a clear transition completely, then of course you're disorganized, and therefore you haven't done a good job of it. Putting down wheels is a good structure. That's one. The other one is actually putting resources to deal with some of those things and not leaving it to your children. Actually, unfortunately, we are quickly, as we have been urbanizing, we are rapidly also changing our culture. I think in a few more years, we'll no longer be talking about African culture, European culture. It will become global culture. So the situation is this. We are now beginning to converse about a sustainable retirement arrangement. And so in CPF, we have actually, as part of our foundation, which we are launching soon, we are actually introducing with that foundation another institution we are calling the Pensions Club. And the Pensions Club, which I will be recruiting many of us here when we go forward, we are going to discuss those things whenever we meet like this. And we are going to say, would you rather retire in your exclusive enclave, in your single mansion, and die of loneliness, or would you rather retire and plan to retire with your friends, have a lovely time, and enjoy things you have never had time to do before? I think that's the conversation we need to have, and we are going to have it within our Pensions Club, which we'll be inviting all of us to join, and then we engage. And I think the conversation will tilt towards a joint retirement arrangement, so that we say, if all of us love the outdoors, and we go where hair is cleaner and retire together there, live in a small community, and therefore enjoy our company for as long as possible. And when we leave this world, we don't have to worry about what to do with some of the properties we have accumulated. Some of that can be arranged, and the experts are in this room and also within our institution to assist us make this arrangement. So those are the things we are discussing. They are just very important topics now in my institution, and we are going to be engaging with all of you. So that social element, of course, it is natural for us to say yes. A few things which I would call tokenism. One company that doing so much profits here and there decides to just say, okay, to alleviate some of our guilt for our used massive profits, we will do this and that and that. Some of that is really tokenism. Can we get engaged in something more serious And when I was hearing about the topic, the discussion which was going on here, when I just arrived, the discussion was the MSMEs. That conversation of how to create the next generation of successful big business is a conversation which needs to be part and parcel of our social investment. If we really have to meet the ESGs, we need to invest angel capital into MSMEs, which we do not expect a return. We need to take the risk on them and say, it's a standard statistic that out of, let's say, 100 businesses, which is MSMEs which start business, it's very likely 90 of them will collapse within the next 3 years. But out of that 10% which succeed, is the big companies we know now will come up. And the success of those 10% will actually remove will make us not even focus on the failure. So that is maybe a bit of the Pareto principle turned a bit the other way around. Push for success of the 10, and in the next dispensation we will be looking at former MSMEs now are the 10 giants of the world. And I think we have seen businesses grow from that in that manner. So to me, that is a contribution we need to make. And on that basis, we at CPF, we are going that route. So those who want to join us in incubating MSMEs in a very special way, let's do it. Nobody else will come to do it for us. We have the knowledge, we can share this knowledge with MSMEs and not charge them a fat fee to grow them, but actually say, we're investing with you, we'll support you. When you grow, we're happy. In fact, this same conversation I shared with the group CEO of KCB Bank, and I said, why? And I'm happy that they said they have actually embraced the issue. Through their foundation, they are ready to invest money in MSMEs because that's the only way shareholders will not worry that their money is being used on something which is not profit-making. So this pursuit of profit, with the exclusion of everything else, I think is defeatist. Okay? So my discussion here, my message here today is that it is easier to point at environmental and it's easier to point at governance, but it's very difficult to point at social impact investment. But I want to say the journey must begin, and it must begin from IOD. So that's my message to you guys. I don't have a lot of time to be with you, but thank you very much for hearing me.